because one, I was kind of drunk and not thinking straight, but also I didn't want to lose my license for a longer period of time because I lived alone. I needed to drive more, and I just didn't want to deal with that inconvenience for the longer period of time. So I was just like, fine, I'm going to blow. That way I'll only lose it for 3 months. So I blow. I'm more than twice the legal limit. They have this evidence against me. Now, part of my experience was that I had to go to a counselor and do an alcohol assessment, see if I have a problem. Then they assign you to all these classes, MAD, some Mothers Against Drunk Driving symposiums, AA meetings, all kinds of stuff. And at the time, my counselor, whose name was Stormy, which is just beautiful. This whole story couldn't have scripted itself any better. Stormy, comes in and lays down what I got to do, and I had to go to 28 AA meetings, which really pissed me off. And I didn't know anything about AA. I thought AA was just a bunch of people who couldn't hack it, who, were addicts, just complaining about drinking and getting some sort of counseling to help them stop. I had no idea that AA was about God. And in fact, my first meeting when I got there, I got there early because I wanted to check it out. I was kind of nervous about what's going to happen. I don't want to dive into telling anybody my story. I don't want to dive into any of this crap because I don't have a problem. I just need to get all my shit done and get on with my life. So I get there, and I'm sitting in this room, and I'm looking up at the wall, and I'm looking at the 12 steps and the 12 traditions on 2 really cheap laminated cardboard posters in this crappy, institutional looking, just very nauseating room. And the whole thing is about God. And I am like, what the hell? Stormy has sentenced me to church, and I was just really pissed off. I'm like, I'm not buying into this higher power crap. I'm not going to share with these people what my story is. I don't care. But I'll tell you what happened. I sat through that first meeting, and I didn't say anything until it was time to introduce myself. And I reluctantly did, only because I felt like they're going to know I'm new anyway, and if I don't raise my hand, they're going to call me out. And I just don't want to deal with it. So I raised my hand. I said, "Hi, my name's Brian." Did not say I'm an alcoholic. But what followed was all these people just poured out love. They said, they smiled. They were like, "We're happy you're here." And, people all around me, beautiful smiles. And it was awesome. It kind of took the edge off of this whole church crap that I thought I'd being, sentenced to. They gave me a copy of the Big Book, which is the AA book afterwards, and they said, take this home and read it and look at, try to find the similarities, not the differences, because the differences are too easy to see. So I kind of was like, all right, whatever. I took this book home. It was a Saturday. I'm laying on my couch, and I cracked the book. And all of a sudden, I'm reading this thing, and there's this amazing story about how it's all medical history. It's medical history about the treatment of alcoholism. And alcoholism, up to this point, believing, okay, this is a physical ailment, it's a disease, it's whatever. And so here we've got this physical ailment, and we've got this history of treating the physical ailment, and of all this history, the only successful cure is a spiritual cure. Okay, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I think it's a bunch of crap that I got to go to this AA stuff, and yet I'm fascinated by this idea that there's a spiritual cure that's documented by doctors for a physical ailment. So something's going on here. I still don't believe it's God. I still don't know what it is. But anyway, this video is actually going pretty long, like 14 minutes already. So anyway, I want to speed this up a little bit. We can talk more about it. But anyway, about 2 months after being in AA and feeling all the love of these people, some were freaks, some were old, crusty old dudes who just bitch about stuff, some were just poor, pathetic people who they just needed somebody to be a crutch every day for them, or they wouldn't be able to make it. And this whole mess of lives was just, it was a beautiful mess. It was beautiful that these people would come together, support each other, and it just, it started to open up my mind and my heart. Some guys talk about God, some guys would say God is just an acronym for good old drunk or whatever, and so I'm not like sitting here thinking God's curing everybody. I'm just listening to people share. And I don't know what happened, but about a month and a half into this, I come home, I'm laying in bed one night, and I say my first prayer. And it was dumb. It was simple and dumb. It was, God, I don't know if you exist, but thank you for letting me drive to the gym without getting caught. Stupid, right? Well, that led to me saying a thank you prayer every night for the next 2 months. And 2 months, after that 2 months, I called my lawyer up to go to my trial. Remember, I'm .19, more than twice the legal limit. They got the evidence, I'm guilty. Well, through a series of coincidences, 3 different coincidences that had nothing to do with each other. It wasn't like one thing could have triggered all 3. They were 3 totally independent coincidences. Took away all of my sentence. All of it. No jail, no probation, no community service, no fines, no nothing. And I'm sitting here trying to look at this thing and I'm like, okay, this is weird, but you know what? My life needed to change. I wasn't going to change it. Something stopped me, flat out stopped me. And I was receptive to it. I was grateful, and I was connecting with God totally out of disbelief at first and thanking Him for these little things. And I believe, honestly, that He gave me this gift. He gave me this gift of changing my life, opening my heart, and then rewarding me for it. You might say that's a bunch of bunk. I don't know. But that's how it happened. And ever since then, I've had numerous coincidental experiences, which I'm going to share more in another video because this is going on way too long, but things where 10 different things will line up in one day to put me in one spot, to be in that spot where another person's going to be, to have a very specific conversation that relates back to 3 things I did earlier. There's no way that the Big Bang triggered something where these things would happen. There just isn't. And I know that doesn't sound very scientific. I know that doesn't answer your questions. I know that doesn't get to these crazy stories of the Bible, but that's where my experience is coming from. And I'll talk more about the Bible later, talk more about other stuff, and I'll even get into the science more, but I just want you to know, I didn't read the book and just believe these crazy stories. I didn't even know what the book said. I simply started thanking God for things, and He showed up. So, thanks for answering me, and like I said before, I hope that we can continue this conversation. I think this is an awesome medium, and I like you, man, and I like talking to you, so let's keep it up. Good night.